Hey again, guys. Do you know what I like to do when I finally get my cards back from SGC? I like to look at some baseball cards. Yep, I finally got them. Submitted them in early April. It's now early July. Finally have them in my possession. They look nice. I'm going to show those in a minute, but I have a few other things to show, and I have one really exceptional card here. I showed you not so long ago a 1933 Wirch cigar, Jimmy Fox. It's very rare. That entire set is rare. And I have one now that there are only, PSA has only ever graded 10 of them. Only one higher than this. The highest graded one of this is PSA 6 with a designation. I don't know what that designation is, but this is a PSA 5 of Carl Hubble. Chances are you've never seen this card before, since they've only ever graded 10. It's a beautiful example, and just a beautiful pose, too. One of the great pitchers in baseball history. And I picked up, it's been a while since I got a T206. I got this Harry Davis here. That's a pretty cool pose. Gotta love the T206s. Some of them are just outstanding poses. And I have this iron-on. What is this? A 72 NFLPA Larry Zonka. I have several of these. And I showed you guys a T207 Rafael Almeida, one of the first Cuban players in Major League Baseball. And I had mentioned that he went and played for Scranton after he played in the pros. And I stumbled on this old newspaper clipping. It's a baseball publication clipping, actually. And it shows the Scranton team. And he is right there on that team. Not sure the exact year of this. I want to say circa 1914 to 1916, somewhere in there, I think. But kind of a cool piece to have. And I have a 76 Fergie Jenkins, Hostess. And an 85 Steve Yzerman. And I showed you this set, and I didn't have the George Blanda, the vinyls. So I got that. And back when Lynn Swann and John Stallworth were tearing things up with my Pittsburgh Steelers when they wanted to go 3 wide, they brought in this guy, Jim Smith. He was their third receiver. So got a nice 9 example of that card. This is actually a tough card to find in a 9, believe it or not. All right, so that brings us to my SGCs. We'll start off. I had some that were just reholders, actually. And one was this Colgan's Red Ames. You know I love me my Colgans. And a batter up, Dizzy Dean in the pink. Looks good in the new holder there. And a T205 Home Run Baker. The first Home Run Baker card I ever got. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the first T205 I ever got. It's one of the first 4, I know that. And this was a new submission. And this is for my PC. And that is an Al Kaline rookie, 54. I really thought it was going to get a 5, maybe even a little higher than a 5. Maybe a 5.5 or a 6. Wasn't too far off with a 4.5, but I'm generally pleased with that in the 54 set. It's a beautiful card. Beautiful image. You know, the 54 has a lot of image issues. And for that reason, that's a little bit more important to me than the corners. I don't mind. But this is a sharp card. It's a really nice 4.5, I'll tell you that. Now, I complained to SGC, so I don't know. You know, maybe they shaved some grades off of me. I don't know. I'm not accusing them of that. I'm just joking around. But there are a couple cards in here that are questionable. But anyway, these next cards are all doubles I have. And when I have doubles, I like to, especially if the other ones are graded, I like to send them in. And, you know, I know which one the graders think is nicer anyway. I know generally which ones I think are nicer. But I got this 1957 Clemente, and it came back a 5. It's a little off center top to bottom, but it's a really sharp card for a 57. This is another set that has a lot of those little white specks all over it, and this image is just fantastic. So I have another one of these in a PSA 4 or 4.5, and it's a really good looking one too. It's better centered, I guess. I'm a little bit of a centering junkie, but this card is very sharp for a 57. It's a really nice card, so figured I'd send that in and get it graded. I have this one in a PSA 5, so this actually is higher, and that's my Thurman Munson rookie. Came back a 6. And I have this card in a 6, and this one came back, shaking my head a little bit on this one. I know it's not perfect, but I really thought it was going to get higher than this. And that's a 70 Nolan Ryan, and it's a 4. Really nice corners, no creases or anything. It's a little bit of a head scratcher for me. I mean, I didn't expect much higher, I guess, but 4 is pretty rough on that. Same with this one. They gave me a 4.5 on my Clemente. I have this in a PSA 7. It's a little off center top to bottom. The back's off center. It usually doesn't really knock it down too far, but other than that, it's a very nice card. I mean, it's a beautiful image. The corners are nice. It's kind of expecting more of a 5, but again, it's only a half grade. And then I got this Caro Yaz, and it's a 6.5. I have another one of these in a PSA 7. I think it's PSA. It's a 7. Might be SGC. But those are my cards I got back from grading. I mean, there's some nice ones here. I'm glad to get this back. People always ask me, because I buy a lot of raw cards. They're always like, aren't you worried you're buying fakes or this or that? And really, I've been very lucky. A lot of the cards that I send in for grading I have since my childhood, and of course, cards weren't worth that much then. And so there was no real reason to rip people off. So you didn't find them all doctored like you do nowadays, but I've had really good luck. I think I had like a leader's card I paid a couple bucks for, came back a little short, maybe trimmed. And I had a 1971 card that I didn't pay very much for, Pete Rose, next to nothing, and it came back colored. And other than that, I don't. Everything else I've had real good luck with. So, I had this K-Line Raw, and I mean, heck, I'm thrilled to have K-Line rookie in a 4.5. This card's getting a little hot, I understand too, but it's a beauty. So, glad to have these raw cards in case some of them I may trade or sell outright. But every time I do that, I send cards off and I say, you know what, I'm gonna sell one. I end up keeping all of them because man, I just love cards. So that's what I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me drone on. Happy collecting, everybody.